Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have my little order that I placed came in today, so I want to go ahead and show you what I've ordered, and then I'm gonna pause and get stuff ready, and we're gonna make a card with the bundle that I ordered. So first off, I had to get this set. So this is a new kit, and it is, let me get this open so I can show you the picture. I'm really excited about this kit. Okay, so this kit makes, it's called a Rustic Christmas Countdown Kit, and there are 25 envelopes, and there's three different designs to decorate. Now you could also alter it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave them all like they are, and it's like an advent calendar kind of thing. So I'm really excited about this, and the original picture I saw it on was on some greenery that you would hang on your wall, and you just have these hung on each one for each day, and you can put treats in them. Here's the little envelopes. You can put treats in them or something like that. I am actually going to put a Bible verse for each day up to Christmas Day, so the 1st to the 25th, that we can pull out and read here at home. But it has everything you need to make these Advent envelopes, and I was really excited when I saw this kit. So that is available now. You can buy that. It's not a paper pumpkin, it's just a regular kit. There's no ink or anything with it. It's just a paper crafting kit. So we'll probably do some of that on video, but not today. All right, the next thing I got is this bow punch. I have been wanting this bow punch, and when I was ready to get it, it was out of, it was not available. It was sold out because they came out with a stamp set that coordinates with this. Let me grab that really quick. And I got the stamp set, and my intentions was to get the punch at the same time, and that's when they were sold out. So the layering leaves coordinates, this came out this year, it coordinates with this bow punch. And this is, I think, something you can use, like there's no time limit on this. This is something you can use for a really long time. So that was one of the other things I got, was the punch, the bow punch. Then I purchased, well, I got another silicone mat because I cut mine up, so for some other projects. Okay, then I went ahead and ordered the Nested Essential dies. I've been wanting to get this too, and I want to case a card using this die set, but I think it's so universal. Just a nice die set to have, shaped die set that you can use for whatever. And then I finally got my paper florist dies. I can't even wait to get into these and start playing, but that'll be for another day as well. And the set I'm super excited about is an online exclusive bundle. You can get that online. It's not in the catalog. So this is the bundle. It comes with this beautiful ribbon. There's probably a taped section, yep. But I find it easier just to get in there with my scissors like that. Oh, this is a nice ribbon. It's got, I think it's pecan pie down the center. That's a very nice neutral ribbon. So that's part of the bundle. We'll get this paper pad here in just a minute. These adhesive back dragonflies and birds. It's just what I thought with these. These are I think they're like a sequin material, but they look metal. Either that or they're metal and they're really thin, which I really like. I like thin embellishments. It makes it easier, you know, it doesn't make it so the card is so thick to mail. They're perfect. Okay, so that comes in the bundle. And then this stamp set here, Garden Meadow. I'm really excited to play with this. And look at those little quails. Those little quails are so cute. And then the dies that go with it. And I love this piece right here. This, I think you can do a lot with this. This can definitely be a focal point on a card with any paper. But the dies cut out all the items in the stamp set. And you also have additional dies, which will be fun to play with. And then the paper. This paper, I was so excited to order this set and now get it, and the paper's always prettier in person than when you see it online. And the card I want to make, so I'm gonna bundle this video up, this unboxing video with the card, is going to be using this paper. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love the colors in it. So there are 4 of each design. So here's that one. And this beautiful brown on the back, a very nice neutral. Oh, this is so pretty. Problem is going to be deciding which one to use for the card. And this pretty green on the back. This is very, very pretty here. Oh my goodness. And another pretty green on the back. Kind of a yellow, orange. Maybe there's some pumpkin pie on there too. Beautiful paper. Oh my goodness. Honestly, with this paper, I can't imagine using the back. Although I've seen some cards using the front and the back of them, which I will probably try, but I really want to keep as much of this paper on a card as I possibly can because it's just so pretty. And I'm blue. Of course, blue is my favorite color, and that coordinates really well with that. I just want to walk on those paths. I love the mixture of color there. We saw a video on how they made this paper. An artist drew each one of these, and I think it was chalk that they used. Oh, look at that. Oh. Okay, that would be a hard decision right there. Although I think the scenic one would be pretty too, but wow. And there's that one. I believe it's called Meandering Meadows is the name of the suite, or Garden Meadow. I cannot remember, but I will link it in the description box below. I love those colors. So all sky, that's kind of sky too. And then the last one here. And that's really pretty too. So the paper is Meandering Meadows. I think that's the name of the bundle, Meandering Meadows, because the Garden Meadows and stamp set go together. Yeah, so I think it's called Meandering Meadows, but again, I will link it in the description box below. So, and I think this is going to be a very popular set. Oh, I can't link it yet. It's available in November. I'm not sure of the exact date, but I will get that information. But it's available in November for customers. And you definitely want to order it right away, because I don't think that's going to last very long. They'll replenish it, but I definitely think I'm maybe might want another pack of that paper. Okay, I will be right back and we will get started on a card. Okay, I am back and we're going to go ahead and get started on making this card. What we're going to do is we're going to make a bay window card. As soon as I saw this paper, I thought this is what this paper needs to be. Now the hard part is deciding which piece to do, because we have to cut it down. It's going to be 6 inches wide, but it's going to be 4 1/8 inches tall. So I went through the paper. As you're going through, if you decide to do a different pattern, you just have to keep in mind how much, as you're cutting. Like I could cut some of the sky, but if I go down to 2 inches, I'm going to be cutting, because we're essentially cutting one. I guess I could do it here, 1 7/8. So if I do 1 7/8, I'm coming real close to that tree, and I lose some of the sky. So you have to just kind of figure out how far you want to go down on some of these, or how far up, and then cut the rest of it to the 4 1/8 after you make your first cut. And I'll show you on here. I'm actually not going to cut anything from the top on this one. So maybe I should do a different one just to kind of show you how you might want to cut it. This would be pretty. And I have Highland Heather here as my cardstock base. I thought that would go well with this. It has a lot of colors in it that it's it's a lot. Balmy blue, basic black, blueberry bushel, cherry cobbler, crushed curry, fresh freesia, garden green, granny apple green, Highland Heather, lemon lime twist, melon mambo, night of navy, orchid oasis, pecan pie, petal pink, pumpkin pie, and shaded spruce. So it's got a lot of colors in it. And I'm thinking maybe I want to switch so that I can kind of show you. This one might be a good one. Let me see how this looks on here. Looks pretty on there. But this one I probably would just cut most of it from the bottom. So we'll do this one. This one will look good on the Highland Heather. And it has a beautiful path. And I am making a birthday card for someone, so yes, that will look pretty. It's got some of the purples in here, and that'll look good on this card. So what you're going to need to start with is you're going to need a piece, whatever you decide. And this one we're going to kind of, no, this one I would cut mostly from the bottom. This one I would cut the whole thing from the bottom. Let me see where this would end up. It would cut off this much of the path right here if I use this one. I could cut the trees down a little bit. So that's the hard part, is deciding what you want to use here. Let's do this one. We'll see how this one will look on this card base. I think that'll be, let's use that one, because then I can show you what I'm talking about for cutting it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our cardstock ready. This is a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of Highland Heather. And I always cut my card base to have I always cut it for 2 card bases, generally speaking, just so that I have it. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to score. I'm going to move this over to the, let's make sure you can see me here, pull you up a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my card base over to the 5.5-inch mark, and I have it long ways this way, so the 11-inch is on this edge here, and we're going to move it to the 5.5-inch mark. Move my cutting blade out of the way because I'm going to score first. So I'm going to score this at 5.5 inches, and then I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4 inches on the 8.5-inch side. Now I have 2 card bases ready. I'm going to set one aside, and we've got to do some scoring here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cutting blade out, because when I was making my sample, I cut it instead of scored it. So I'm just taking it out of there so I don't have to worry about it. Now I'm going to flip this back around. Make sure you can see me. Okay, so the first score is going to be at 5 1/8. So it's 2 tick marks past the 5, 5 1/8. We're going to bring this down and we're going to score it there. Then we're going to bring it down to 3 5/8. So 3 5/8, there's 3, 3 1/2, it's 2 tick marks past the half mark. So 3 5/8. And then we're going to score it at 1 7/8, which is 2 tick marks away from the 2. So 1 7/8. Now I'm going to flip this around. So here's all my scored edges. I'm flipping it because I had it this way when I was scoring, and I was scoring this side. I need to score a 3/8 inch, so it's easier to do this. And on this side of your scoreboard is a measuring too. And so the 3-inch mark, the 3/8 inch mark is on this scoreboard is the 3rd tick mark past the cutting groove. So we're just going to go that right there. No, 3/8. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. 3/8 is 2 tick marks before the half. Okay, so we're going to score that there. Okay, so if you move it over to this side, here's the half right here, the 1/2-inch mark. We're going to go 2 tick marks before it. So 1, 2, right there on that 3/8 inch. Now I'm going to put my blade back in because that's all the scoring I need to do. And we're going to go ahead and prep this card before we cut our beautiful DSP, which I hate doing, but it's going to make a pretty card. So I'm just going to fold this in half. And if it's off a little bit, now's the time to kind of get it so that it sits right. Take your bone folder and burnish that down. Now you're going to have this little score mark here. You're going to take it and flip it the opposite direction and score that there. And then these, you bring it forward. Bring the next one forward. And this one, you don't have to burnish as hard. You probably do need a little bit of a burnishment. So this is going to be your bay window card. Just get that down a little bit, okay? So what we have to do now is this little piece right here where we've scored this little skinny section. When you fold it back, you have this right here. We're going to glue that down. You can also, I'm going to try the score tape. My other one I did glue and it took a minute. and I'm not a super patient crafter, so I'm going to use the score tape for this. This will hold it down. I'm just going to put it in this little groove, and it'll probably be easier for you to see if I do it like this. I'm just going to cut that away. Okay. So I'm going to burnish the score tape. Now I'm going to show you this card up close. So if you see, we have all these folds here. When you fold it over, it's this thin piece right here that we're putting the score tape on, right here. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and remove this score tape. Then we're going to fold it over and get that down. I'm just going to burnish it just to make sure that it's down there good. Now we have that piece attached, and now we can work on the rest of the card. Okay, so we decided we're going to use this one here, and I'm bringing out my cutting board. I'm going to move that out of the way. I've been crafting like crazy. I have a bazaar coming up, so I'm trying to get things done so my table is a mess. So okay, so what we need to do is we need to cut, we're going to keep this whole length right here, but we need to cut some off the top and some off the bottom. Now I'm just going to move this in and see what it would look like at 4 1/8. And if I cut that there, from there on, it still looks nice, but I would like some more of this pink. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. So this is what I'm talking about when you're trying to decide how much of the top and the bottom you're going to cut off. You can bring this to the top and just look at your groove line and see where that's going to go, and maybe cut off. So that's about a 1/4 inch. I could probably do about a 1/2 inch there. That should leave me plenty of sky. So I'm going to go ahead and cut there. Okay, so, and this can be used for like a decorative strip or something, or you can toss it. So we still have plenty of that sky. Now I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to move that over to the 4 1/8 inch, and then we're going to cut that off, because that's how tall we want it. Okay, and there's our scene that we're going to be putting on the card. Now I'm going to be cutting this piece, this piece, this piece, and this piece, and also the piece that's left over is going to go in here. Okay, so to cut this, we need, it's at 6 inches right now, so we're going to cut it at, to get the 1/4 inch, we're just going to move it down to 5 3/4. I'm trying to figure out which would be the easiest way to cut this, because if we cut it in this orientation, we need to go backwards. But if we flip it this way, we don't need to go backwards. But I think we're going to try this and hope it all turns out. So I'm going to cut it at 5 3/4. To get this 1/4 inch piece. And this piece is going to go right there. Okay. So we're going to, okay, the next piece we need to cut is we need to cut, we're going to do that 1/4 inch, 5 3/4, cut it that, then we're going to flip it around, and I think this will be easier. So then we're going to cut this at 4 3/8. We can actually cut it this way, I hope. If not, we can use another piece of paper. So 4 3/8, and that should give me 1 3/8. Yes, so 4 3/8, There's that piece. And that piece is going to go on this panel right here. Then we're going to cut it at 3. And that should give me I'm going to flip this around. Sorry if this is confusing. I need this to be 1 5/8. So 1 5/8 is 1 notch past the 1/2 inch mark. Because that center panel is bigger. And then I need to cut the next one at 1 3/8. And there are our pieces. So, so here are our pieces. That's going to be the panoramic view. But just so that we, since I stumbled over the cutting, let's grab another piece. I have another piece of card to use anyway that I could use for my card base. So let's choose another one that we can do that on that has some purple in it. This one's pretty. We could do this one, and it has purple in it. So let me go back over how to do that. All right, I'm going to move this, set this aside. So again, we're going to see if we were to cut this, because we need it 4 1/8 tall. If we were going to cut it there, it would have this much of the yellow showing. I want a little bit more, so I'm going to cut some of the sky off, and I'm just going to kind of guesstimate where I want to cut it, and that looks about good. And then I'm going to flip this around and cut it at 4 1/8. That's a good panoramic scene. Now I'm going to, since this is 6 inches long, I'm going to move it to 5 3/4. This is the far end of the card, so we're trying to work that way. So we're going to cut it at 5 3/4, and that's the strip that goes on the far left side. Set that over there. And now we need this. Now I'm going to turn it around. And I need the next cut to be 1 3/8 inches long. We'll do it this way. 1, 2, 3. 1 3/8 inches long. Or wide, I should say. That's our second piece. This one needs to be 1 5/8. And then this one needs to be 1 3/8. Okay. All right, so we've got our pieces for our panel. And we're going to go ahead and glue these down. We're going to set that one aside. Now, if you put the puzzle back together, you're going to have, this piece, we're going to do that last. And this is how it'll go on your card in order. So I'm just going to lay these out in order, move those off to the side. And we're going to go ahead and start gluing. So I'm going to start with this piece here. And I'm trying just to center it good in there. Okay. There's that one. Then we're going to take our next piece and glue it in our next panel. And you're going to glue it between the score marks. Some of this glue off my hands. Okay, here, the next piece, the center one. And I'm trying to line up my edges. So the edges of these, I'm trying to make sure that these panel pieces, as I'm laying down, that this is a straight line across as best I can. That down, and then this one down. Okay, so there's the front of your card. Now for this piece here, this is going to go on the inside of here, but I want to reinforce it. So let me find my paper here that I had. So I know that this is 1 3/8 inches wide and it's 4 1/8 inches tall. So what I'm going to do, I had something here but I can't find it, so I'm going to go ahead and cut a new piece. Just cut a new piece. So I'm just going to cut a strip that is 1 3/8 inches wide. And then I'm going to cut it to 4 1/8 inches tall. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and glue these two pieces together. This is going to give it some stability because this piece is going to hold your card open. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. Could not even wait to get in here and play with this set. And I'm just playing with the paper right now. I haven't played with the dies. I am using the sentiment, the happy birthday sentiment from the set. But this is all the paper and the bird embellishments. Okay, so we have this piece. We also need, for our sentiment piece, one that is 4 1/8 by 4. And I'm just going to make sure I have the right side. I do not need to flip that around. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down. Make sure I'm gluing the right edge. Yep, that is the right one. Just kind of centering this as best I can. Okay, that looks good. Now with this piece, you need to make sure you have the matching end here facing the right direction. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to glue just halfway up. Not along the sides, just halfway, approximately. And then we're going to go ahead and get that down. And I'm going to leave a little bit of the card, the Highland Heather showing around the edge, and lining it up with our white here. Now, if you get glue all over everything like I do, you can take one of these glue erasers that I found and get that off. I did get some down here, so I'm going to get that off. So that removes the stickiness. And you can also use your embossing buddy to do that as well. It'll remove the stickiness. I got some right there, so we're going to try to get that off. Okay. All right, here is your bay window card. Isn't that beautiful? It just shows this panoramic view, and it displays beautifully, so it sits up like that. So gorgeous. We're going to just do a little bit more finishing. That's what this tab is for, is to tuck in there. And then it's a great way to use some really stunning paper like this. Okay, so for the sentiment, I am using from the Stitch Rectangles die, like the smallest long one that there is, because I'm going to use the Happy Birthday sentiment from this set here. And I'm going to stamp that first. This is a 3/4 inch strip. So what I do is I just figure out the width and then I cut it. And I'm using the thicker cardstock for this because it's going to be popped up. And then I just kind of measure and cut that off like that. I'm just going to stamp it in black. You could do it in different colors, but yeah, I'm just going to stamp it in black. So I'm going to get my stamp pad out here so I can stamp this sentiment. And I'm going to do it before I cut it out. And this sentiment stamps very nicely. Leave it there for a second so it can get soaked in. Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get the sentiment cut out. We're almost done with this card. Grab my mini cut and emboss. Now, if your stuff won't stay on when you're cutting, you can always use washi tape to hold it in place. Sometimes I have issues, sometimes I don't. Now, I'm not going to use the ribbon that came with it for this card. I don't think. I'll try it, but I really just want the scene. I want the paper just to kind of be showcased. So there's our sentiment, and that's why I have such a small sentiment strip for it, so that way it covers up the least amount of paper of this beautiful paper. Now I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. Go. So flip it over and put two kind of in the center there, because it's going to set on the center panel. Okay, and then I'm just going to center this the best I can here. There's the happy birthday. Now the last thing is to grab some of these birds and dragonflies and put them on the card. Let's see, I think I want this one coming up over there, and then maybe a little dragonfly here in the flowers. Oh, that's pretty. Little dragonfly there. Let's see, do I want anything over here on this side? I'm pretty sure I want something in each panel. So I'm going to do one of these birds lying over here. I think I'll do another one of these. Maybe off to that inside there. And then I think what I want to do on this one is maybe put a dragonfly right there in the flowers. We'll have a couple of dragonflies in this card. Yeah, right there. All right. And there's our card. It fits in the standard envelope. And then they can display it. Just tuck that inside. And you've got your beautiful bay window with your beautiful birds and dragonflies flying around. Isn't that a fun card? Here's the sample I did before the video with another piece. I didn't put anything over here. I just thought that was pretty the way it is. And then you've got your sentiment strip or piece inside to be able to write in there. All right, well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you craft along and make one of these beautiful bay window cards. Catch you on the next one.